This video is meant to present my theistic views in the clearest way that I can for honest discussioner, theoretical bullshit, Sisyphus Redeemed, and all of the other non-theists in our Google Hangout, and for my new YouTube friends here as well. This is not meant to be a deep academic thesis, but a basic understanding from which we can dig deeper in our debates. It's important to start out by saying that I'm not trying to prove God. For us Orthodox, God is beyond this sort of silver platter Western logical presentation. God is a mystery, an ultimate experience, not just some dry academic result of a modal ontological argument or some three-step cosmological proof. Nonetheless, I believe there are elements of God's effects that are basic and understood by everyone, theist or not. In Exodus 3, God names himself as I am that I am. And in Hebrews 1, the Son of God is described as the person through whom all things were made. Psalm 104 describes God's Spirit as that who gives creation its life and its renewal. And in the Nicene Creed, the Spirit is pronounced the Lord and giver of life. But what would all of this mean in the general sense of God's relationship to the universe? For us Orthodox, the experience of God points towards a reality that is itself beyond being in essence, but who, in his activity, is fully within all that exists. He is the very being, end, and change of all that's real. So, for instance, my hand, it has fingers, it has a color, it has texture, and if you put it under a microscope, you'll find that it's made of certain atomic structures, and so on. But nothing about what my hand does proclaims that it is. In fact, to even be known as doing anything at all, my hand must first be. Foremost, then, we have an idea that something is, above and beyond what it is. Second, my hand has a range of uses. It can punch, it can cook dinner, and it can possibly even do surgery to heal the sick. But it can't do things like provide flight or stand as a gravitational center for a galaxy or anything like that. The atoms in my hand, they may contribute and even be necessary for this range of action and these things that it can't do. But apart from the fact that the atoms themselves have form and range of action, there is nothing about my hand's material that testifies to what it does or can do. Under a microscope, after all, the material in my hand just looks the same as the material of the moon or a slice of pizza. What it means to be a hand, then, cannot lie within the matter of my hand, even if it dictates what the matter of my hand must be. Third, my hand can actually move and change in line with those ends, and it can do so consistently. It can actually pick up things. It can actually punch the monitor. Perhaps with sufficient training, it can actually perform surgery. In short, there's a change in line with my hand's form and ends, but again, nothing about the material in my hand necessitates that it changes or moves, unless you feel like passing the buck to other things that physically act upon it, like my arm or brain, but those, of course, have their own forms and ends, and they also change. So, in summary, though, we can observe three aspects about ontology. There's being, there's form, and there's change. And these are all uncreated. They're all above everything that is and throughout everything that is. And they're basic notions of an essence that not only can't we observe, but we can't even begin to spell out. These things are not God himself, as pantheists would say, nor are they part of God's essence, as panentheists would say, But nonetheless, there's no invisible old man or plate of spaghetti yanking at things with puppet strings. Being, change, and ends just are God and his energies. Just as the pizza man delivering a pizza, when he knocks on the door, we say that's the pizza man. The knock isn't the pizza man, but he's fully there doing the knocking. So, for you godless heathen friends of mine that choose to respond, what is it that prompts you to choose non theism over theism? How would you, on your own view, account for the mystery of the contingency of being, or the inescapable habit of using universals in language? I'd like to know the answer to these things if you respond.